We were going to let him go, but he wins the Iron Bowl, and
why would he go?
Give him an extended contract.
That is the part I don't understand. I'd be like, okay, this was a decent. Plus the bowl game was just.
It was horrible.
But you know what? I mean, my sisters all went there, so I had to I'm like, well, Kerryon Johnson was hurt, and I mean there were hurt people, and honestly, Auburn gifted Alabama getting every one of their people healthy before the playoffs. And
I know.
That was the best way to go into the playoffs.
Because honestly, if they would have played in the SEC championship, Georgia would have killed them because they were still hurting. They had no linebackers at the time, and it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. I mean, it really was
because they had like a month off.
Yeah. And honestly, for Auburn, I was like, there's no way you're going to beat Alabama and Georgia and then come back and beat Georgia again. Even if Kerryon had stayed healthy, I just think that would have been. That's too much.
Here you go, Mackenzie.
So honestly, Auburn did have a good year last year.
They did, but if you think about it, this year, the 3 games they lost, they really were kind of in them all. So they would have been the worst 8. I mean, that would have been the worst 8-0 team this year if they would have pulled a couple plays here and there in those 3 games.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's just so disappointing. It's like you kind of think finally they're getting it all together, and then no, they're just not.
The problem is you have to watch Alabama in the same state, and it just drives you nuts. I'm so okay.
Well, see, here's
Nick Saban is doing something illegal. He cannot be that good for that long a period of time. It's
if you look at his recruiting classes, college football is all about recruiting.
Agreed.
And Alabama has probably been the number 1, maybe the number 2, almost every year.
Yep.
But my point is this: he should have more championships. Because a good coach with that much talent, he has 5 stars sitting on his bench for 2 years before they play.
I know.
And it's amazing that they're willing to sit. I think that's amazing.
I know, but that's why you say he's doing something, because you have 5 stars that can start anywhere in the country.
So I follow recruiting a bunch.
Okay.
But still, you would not every 5-star pans out. I mean, and you would still think that there would be a hole here or there. And when they come onto a field,
2 was a 3-star coming out.
But didn't he win like the Elite 11 quarterback?
Deal? That's why
That's his skill.
I never listened to his star ratings because right now Ian Book for Notre Dame was a 2.5 star. I think coming out. I mean,
sometimes it's where you play though.
It's a lot of where you play. Remember, it's like a
it's like who reports it. If you get recruited,
watch the baseball draft and realize how much that is total hocus pocus. There are guys that are going the 17th round.
So you're making the point for me that Alabama, not everyone would be that good, and when they take the field, they are 10 times stronger than any team that they play. Every single time.
And nothing ever came out of that whole deer antler spray stuff. Did you remember that?
Yeah, that was a bad.
Nothing. That just. You heard about it one week, and now you never heard another thing.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I will say though. You don't realize that the number 2, I think it's number 1, 2, and 3 states for per capita NFL players.
Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Texas,
Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama are the top 3. I mean, if you can recruit in those 3 states, which is where
they're home,
90% of the stuff, the reality is they're bigger, stronger, and faster in those 3 states. That's just the reality. Your hunting ground for taking players is those 3 states. So if you can dominate those 3 states, I mean, you're also coming into a town though that Bear Bryant was the norm. I mean, why is Notre Dame still relevant? I mean, they're relevant because their name has been on for 50, 60, 70, 80
The
years.
ABC contract helped
them
out quite a bit.
It doesn't hurt, but you got to realize.
They have a national base. Notre Dame has a national
So Alabama
They're like
actually,
the Cubs.
believe it or not, okay, so here's what's bizarre. A friend of mine said, one of my guys works for me, goes, everybody in Lebanon knows about Alabama football.
Really?
Yes.
Lebanon?
The guy was like, oh yeah, everybody has heard of Alabama football in like Lebanon.
Wow.
He said, we don't know anything about football, but we know the Dallas Cowboys, the New England Patriots, and Alabama. It's like the Yankees. There's just a certain name that you're just going to have.
But Alabama did not have that. I mean, they were, when Shula was there, and I mean,
they won
had
a national championship in the 90s. It's not like they were completely.
92.
But they weren't, I mean, the late 90s, early 2000s, it was all USC, and Alabama wasn't that good. And everyone forgets those years.
So the one thing that people don't realize is private schools do terrible. The fact that Notre Dame is any good is amazing. There's been exactly 1 national champion since 1993 that's been a private school, and that's been Miami. 1.
Yeah.
USC was private, but they lost it because they cheated. USC and Miami are the only teams that have been able to win it. State
Notre
schools
Dame has not won a national championship?
since 1988.
Oh, since 1988.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since 88, since 1993, there's not been a national champion that was a private school except Miami. USC got stripped of theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
But the one thing that Saban can do, which I think helps him with the 5 stars, is he'll tell them, you may not start. All I want you to do is sit for 2 years, get strong, learn my schemes,
But
and
I-
you have a chance at the NFL.
But-
That's what I was going to say. You
That's
have a
what
chance at the NFL.
But, you know,
His
so many
players
can
go
do it,
well
you know.
in the draft.
I-
mean, and
I
everyone
s-
respects
So I
him.
remember one thing. Who was his mentor?
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He learned. And who did Bill Belichick learn from? Bill Parcells.
Parcells.
There is an obvious tree there
Yeah.
of how to win.
But you know, and the other thing that makes me want, I mean, so I believe Nick Saban is by far the best coach in the college.
I don't think he's the best coach. I think, like you said, he's the
X's and
best
O's.
program.
the best
He's not the
CEO.
He's
Yeah.
not the best X's and O's
Yeah.
coach.
No, he's the best CEO. And I will also tell you, though,
But
in 2 national championships, he's made 2 of the ballsiest calls I've ever seen in
Yeah,
football
2 of
history.
1,
One
yeah.
was that, well, Tua going in
Yeah.
halftime, but against Clemson, when he kicked off and kicked a, what's it called, an onside kick at halftime,
yeah,
I was like, holy cow, what?
yeah.
That to me was one of the most amazing
But
calls I've ever seen. So other than that, though, but he still makes dumb ones, like keeping nobody back on a 101-yard
yeah,
kick
Yeah,
field
but
goal return. That's
you
a
know
dumb
what?
play.
Every play that looks, every call that looks good is because it succeeded. Had it not succeeded, you would
Oh,
have. That was the dumbest.
That's why
play
I
ever.
said. That's why I said he was the ballsiest coach. I didn't say when I literally mean that. I say he's got guts like coming out of his ears to do both of those moves.
Well, see, on that
Yeah.
You take a
kickoff,
26-2 starter and you bench him for the second half when you're only down by what, 10 points at that point?
Yeah, but he knew what he had.
but on
Yeah.
that kickoff
Nobody
return,
wins, yeah, no.
on that one kickoff return,
That was bad.
that's a coaching mistake
That was a
because
huge coaching mistake.
I'll tell you, because when you see that guy go back and you know you don't have the personnel, you have a timeout.
Nice, Riley. Hey! Hey, it's a trip! Trip! Sorry, my kid.
okay.
Gotta get on the ref a little bit.
Has he called anything?
I don't think there's been a single call.
Yeah, he's not calling anything.
I don't know. I do think he's an amazing coach. I don't know if he's the best. I think he's the best CEO.
Yeah, I agree.
Right,
I
but
really-
X's and
But
O's.
I still think that there's something up.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
something
then
up.
you could say that about Mike.
Especially with
Because if you look at his, and if you also look at
it looks
the,
like men get amongst
if you
boys.
look at the, and if you look at his coaching tree,
it's not very good.
it's not very good.
He's beaten. He's 12-0 against them or something.
Right.
He's like 14-0 against.
And they don't do that good, right?
Right.
Kirby's smart.
Kirby Smart is the one, and I think he is the one who
Da-
could
Dabo's
change
gonna
the
be-
game.
Dabo's good
replacement.
too.
Dabo.
Dabo's
Well, and so everyone says that Dabo is. I hope he stays happy. Well, I hate Clemson, but I'd hate him more at Alabama.
Right. I think Dabo. Well,
Wait,
see,
you hate Clemson more or Alabama more?
Well, I hate him at Clemson because I don't want him to do good at Clemson, but I hate him at Alabama because I don't want to see him do good at Alabama either.
You just hate the man. What you're saying. is
I'm
you
not
hate-
saying I hate the man because he
You're a
does
hater.
seem like a good guy,
Yeah.
but he did.
He's actually from here. He's from up the road.
But
Oh,
he
wow.
did do. He did talk a lot of. I mean, I know it happens on recruiting, but he's just flat out lying to kids about Urban Meyer retiring and stuff
they
like
all
that.
do this.
I know.
Please.
But he got called out on it, and it was pretty
Urban
bold.
Meyer with his whole thing. Come on, man.
I know. If I wasn't a Buckeye fan, I
was
would
a-
not
I
like
was a
him.
Penn State fan and a Notre Dame fan growing up, and I had to flush Joe Paterno at some point. I go,
Yeah.
All right. The guy had to have done something.
Well, so I don't think. I mean, the whole Urban Meyer and this recent thing, I think that was way blown out of proportion. Have you heard about Mark Cuban and all the sexual harassment and beatings that the girls have taken on?
Right.
But that doesn't get talked about
Right.
because it wasn't Urban Meyer, and Mark Cuban paid $10 million
well, you know.
immediately. And Urban Meyer does not handle PR well at all. I mean,
No,
Ohio
he doesn't.
State.
No,
He
he's
was
not.
awful.
Awful.
I
Right.
mean, you may be right, you may
Yeah.
be wrong about whether
Yeah.
there was a lot there or nothing there, but the way he handled it, I mean, to basically not even say
Yeah.
her name, to basically just
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
Ohio
I
State.
mean, to basically be mad that he had to be there anyways and
Yes.
not go, because in reality, that's probably why
Hey,
Saban
Roo!
is better.
Be
In
Riley Roo!
reality, he
Play
is in
aggressive.
charge. That's his
I know.
program.
Attack!
And
I
he
agree.
needs to,
Be
and
the
he
Roo!
needs to take up responsibility for it.
But they were making it sound like, I mean, just the way the media were acting, in particular Paul Feinbaum,
You know, it's called Fine.
I don't. I don't listen. I don't really listen to
I just want to know why anybody listens to these skinny, like never played a sport ever dorks from
Mike
New York.
Greenberg.
But he was,
like, what's his name? What is it about coming down from New York being a skinny little
Mad Dog?
They're all like, why does anybody listen to Stephen A. Smith?
I know.
Or who's the idiot? The blind guy that's not.
Well, Stephen A. Smith.
oh, I know
college
you're talking
basketball.
about, and he is so bad.
Who's the idiot though that used to be on the opposite?
He's just a
Stephen A.
hot take guy.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking
He's
about
on Fox now over his own show.
He's with Shannon Sharp now.
Yeah, what's a guy?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That
It's,
guy's a moron. Who listens to that guy? He played like grade school volleyball.
I mean, I think it influences recruits. These high school kids listen.
Yes, you're right.
And let me tell you what, I also think the SEC and potentially ESPN knows how to take care of Alabama.
Mike Slive,
without a doubt.
I'm going to say he's dead now, so I can talk about it. He was a patient of mine. That man was brilliant. I'm going to tell you right now. Mike Slive, he was the guy that created the SEC.
Okay.
Mike Slive, he was the
Yeah.
one that started the SEC and the SEC network and everything. He knew how to market it. He knew how to create something. He basically followed the franchise system of how the NFL did it.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly what he was doing. He turned the SEC from a country boy, people knew about
to a
Alabama,
nationwide.
to a nationwide product.
Alabama, they play LSU not this week, but not next week, but the following. Guess what? They've got a bye. Before Auburn, they will play,
Right.
some no-name scale. They haven't played an away game against a top 25 team that's non-conference and a neutral site in probably 12 years.
So is that the
Alabama?
genius?
Yeah,
Yes.
they won't do
Yeah,
it.
but you know what? At least the SEC has strong teams. I mean,
Oh my gosh, that just drives me friggin'
I
insane.
can't stand watching FSU or Clemson go. Okay, we've played nobody all season long.
Agreed. But you know what? The SEC is not that. The SEC East is horrible. Except for Georgia, they're horrible.
That's true.
Tennessee is absolutely
Florida?
miserable.
Tennessee is
Florida is not that good.
But Florida,
Vanderbilt is okay.
Florida's only got one loss. They may pull this season out.
Well, if they pull the season out, that's just because they're playing their own conference. They have no out of conference, and they're not that good. They're not that good. But everyone says
out of conference schedule
it's just a history thing because they've been good for a long time. And I grant it, 5 years ago they were by far the best conference.
What you do, you earn your right to get that. It's like
But they're not that good anymore. So you can't keep saying, well, Alabama, their strength of schedule is probably on paper pretty decent because they've been playing SEC West schools. But guess what? They're not. They haven't played a single soul yet.
I mean, at the same time, that's like saying
It is because they don't schedule anything out of conference.
That's like saying
Louisville's not a good school.
Schedule is not good this year. I'm like, okay, they beat Michigan. Okay, that was a good game. They beat VTech, which should have been better. But then they have Florida State, USC. They beat Stanford, and they have three teams that are
In the
perennial.
past.
See, you're talking about ranked teams, though.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying FSU sucks. They're playing.
FSU does
They're
suck.
playing.
Stanford's not
USC
played
sucks.
FSU does.
I mean, they suck. It's not their fault. They scheduled these teams 10 years ago.
And I'm okay with those scenarios. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with. But
you're talking about
You're
the
not
Kent
scheduling-
States and
they're not playing
those
anybody.
type of schools that Alabama plays. I know. What
yeah,
you're saying.
constantly.
Oh, there's no doubt they'll play an Apple.
And then they also schedule. They do it very strategically. They don't do 3, out of conference games at the beginning. They do right before Auburn playing a cupcake schedule. You know who we're playing before we play Michigan? We're playing Michigan State. Guess what? That's a pretty good team.
Right.
It sucks.
Not today, Larry.
Here's another thing.
Well, they're a good team. Just because they got beat doesn't mean they're not a good team.
When Alabama's defense,
And we'll get beat by them.
when Alabama's
Yeah,
defense was
we can beat by
built to
Purdue.
stuff the run, and he had all those big boys that weren't really mobile.
Yeah.
What do? He goes to the rules committee and says, "We need to have 12 seconds to allow the players." It's a player safety issue because Gus came in with that quick offense.
Yeah.
And Clemson started running a quick offense,
So,
and he didn't know what to do with it. So he goes to the
say-
rules committee.
Let's say you're the NCAA, though.
Yes.
The reality is, you want your product, you want your known commodities.
Well,
That's the truth. I mean,
I agree, but you don't want one. You don't want one
But
team.
you're going to get like the NBA.
You have
you
one
only
team
have-
where you know that's going to win, and I don't think it's. I think the
Exactly.
NCAA.
That's not exciting anymore.
I know it's not.
I agree, but at the same time, they do have to protect their
I agree.
gold standards.
Yeah.
The reality is they're going to protect Ohio
But
State.
then-
But the only way they're going to be able
In
to
Ohio
protect it
State-
is go to an 18 playoff because right now so many teams are out of the running.
We
And
will.
When you start losing teams this early in the season, you
Ro.
start losing people that follow the game.
There you go, Ro. There you go, Riley.
But
There you go, Riley.
Nice, Emma.
Wide open. Come on, Cat. Make a run, Cat.
Because the NBA has gotten to the point where
You know who's gonna win.
you know who's going to win.
Yeah.
What about this year?
And they're losing.
Well, it's ridiculous.
There's only one team in the East, really. Well, two. Philadelphia and the Celtics.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
it.
But I mean, in the West right now, who is it? Houston and obviously.
But you know, I don't think anybody.
Golden State has it.
But I think NCAA football is much worse than that. I think there's 5 teams that maybe have a chance,
Right.
and there's only one that really has a chance, and it's Alabama.
No, that's not true. I mean, they didn't win 2 years ago. I mean, they lost.
Well, Clemson really. Clemson just had a good team at that time.
They did.
They had the right players and the right style. But
Clemson does have a decent team right now too, but they can't play with Alabama this
Right.
year.
They crushed them
No.
all the way.
not this year.
Who they won?
But see,
But NC State.
you got to understand,
NC
most
State
teams have the ebb and flow of their recruiting
I know.
classes.
Alabama does not.
doesn't.
Ever.
Okay, but you don't think that's gonna last forever?
I don't. As soon as Saban
Saban's
steps
gone.
away, if
They're
Dabo
gonna
doesn't,
go back
if Dabo doesn't step in, then I think they'll have
I
a.
don't even know if Dabo's not the same guy as Saban.
But Dabo could ride that wave.
And I think it
For a
depends.
year or two.
So if Saban steps down and the strength and conditioning coach goes with him, it'll change. But their strength and conditioning guy is key to what they do.
But it's really key when you can have a guy really work out and not have to worry about games and getting beat up for
Yeah.
his freshman year, maybe even
Yeah.
his sophomore year. That makes a huge difference
You're
than
right.
other schools with freshmen that are trying to work out and get strong and play.
They still have
week
that
in,
one
week out.
freshman wide receiver that comes in and just dominates still, though.
That's true.
It drives me
They had to find
crazy.
talent, though. There's no
He
doubt.
is.
I mean, like Tua. Why did Tua flow? Everybody. This guy went to Hawaii to get
See,
this kid.
Tua was on my
Tua was like, how
on
did
my
you-
radar though.
Tua literally said, "How did you find me over here?" Like you said this to Saban apparently. Like, what made you come out to Hawaii?
But
So did his
the
whole
Elite
family
11,
move? Because his
Yeah.
little brother's playing on some team in Alabama that came
Yeah.
down and
Capella.
played.
right?
And he's
playing
no,
out-
Thompson, isn't it?
Or Thompson. He's right up the
Yeah,
road.
because they came down and played Crestview, I think.
Yeah, he's
and
going to
where
Alabama.
we live.
He's going to
Right.
He's going
Alabama.
to Alabama, yeah.
So I thought
He's going to
he
beat
was
his
from-
brother out of his job next year. At Alabama.
Yeah,
That would be funny.